Today's beer is going to be Bloodline by Flying Dog. This is a blood orange ale, nice and hoppy with a citrus feel. Delicious, great summertime beer for after a hot day. Check it out, guys. Remember, drink responsibly. Hey kids, welcome to Beer and Bolter's little tutorial in regards to scenery building to make your game experience a little bit better. My name is Adam. Just to give you guys some background information in regards to my game experience. Been playing Warhammer 40K since Rogue Trader days back in the early 90s when I was a young lad. Played through every edition and currently playing 7th edition. Ran a game store where I was the head Games Workshop trainer, painter, modeler extraordinaire. And we're sitting here in a city right now. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about Table Wars battle mats, now called the Fat Mats from Frontline Games. And you guys can see my mat here. I know I had a couple questions about this. These things are awesome. Now, this was a Kickstarter from Frontline Games that started, I guess, last December. And, you know, I've had these for a few months now, and I'll say I'll probably never go back. I love these mats. They look so good. They make the feeling of the game so good. It's still random enough to do some different stuff. I have 3 of these, and we're going to talk about them, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so far, awesome. Anybody who sees this, who comes down in our gaming area, is like, what is that? That thing looks awesome. It just really draws everybody into it, and it's better than the old thing I used to have, which is a textured board on my game table. It was like kind of a gray texture that I, you know, model a little bit and did some dry brushing too, but this is awesome. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to say these things can be a little pricey. When I bought these through the Kickstarter, I think I paid 95 bucks a piece. Since then, they've got $10 cheaper. They're about 85 bucks a piece. They have a couple urban. This is the Urban City 2, I think. And I'll go over some pros and cons of this one as well. They have a grassland. They have like a battle moon type, almost desert looking one. Check them out at frontlinegames.com or frontlinegaming.com. They got a couple of different assortments of the 6x4s and a 4x4s for you War Machine guys, whatever that is. I actually did buy a 4x4 for some Kill Team games, but the city ones are the way to go. Now, I say that to say this. These things are awesome. The one thing that I don't think that they necessarily work the best for is when you want to have hilly terrain. I do some of the Games Workshop battle boards with the hills that are already established in there. They're awesome. They also feel really good. They do take a lot of room. They are a lot to paint and convert, and they are expensive. I think they're nowadays going for 300 bucks to get a 6x4 foot table. When I was running my part of the game store about 5 years ago, we had, I think, 3 of those, and they were pretty awesome. They were kind of a pain in the butt to keep clipped together, and since then, Forge World has made a couple things, and I know Games Workshop is also coming out with some urban style ones that are very detailed. They're much more texture detailed than this one, because of course this is all a printed image. Now, let's talk about how these things are manufactured. It's just like a giant mouse pad. You can roll it up, you can squeeze it, you can crunch it up. It's going to be fine. I spilled my beer on it earlier before I started this video, wiped it off, ready to rock and roll. Another cool thing about this, and your wives or girlfriends or whatever will probably love it, when you roll your dice on this, it quiets the sound of the dice. And I can't tell you how many late games I've had where, you know, my wife had to come downstairs and be like, "You're waking us up with the dice chatter." But when 15 Blood Claws are assaulting out of a Land Raider Crusader and you got 45 assault dice, what are you going to do? You're going to make some noise. This does help cushion it. The imaging on this is pretty good as well. A lot of texture. You know, it looks pretty cool. I mean, stuff over here like these tire streaks and everything, it's just amazing. You see some more tire streaks and stuff, real realistic. Now, this was a unlockable image, so I don't feel they did as well on this cityscape as they did the first one, which is you know, kind of squaring off. This is more angled, and the first one, and I'll show you here in a little bit, was also set up for deployment zones. This does not set up the caddy corner deployment zone, and there's no real markers for the anvil, hammer and anvil type deployment zone. So you still have to measure it out and lay your markers down, which isn't a big deal. The other one's a little bit better, and I'm going to pull that out right now. So right here we have the sleeve, the bags that these things come with. This is kind of my worst complaint about the setup. These things rip really easy. This, you did see I put the sticky side out. I should have rolled it the other way, but I want to protect the image. And this grips on there when you're trying to get into the bag. You can rip it pretty easily. So that was kind of a pain in the butt. I actually hate putting these things back in the bag. But, you know, all things considered, throw this in your trunk, take it anywhere, unroll it on the kitchen table, and you guys are ready to rock and roll. It's funny because we are actually doing a little construction in my house right now, so I got some extra sheets of drywall. So I actually take out the 8x4 foot sections of drywall and throw that on the kitchen table, which is perfect for this. So go ahead and we'll pull that out. You guys can see how that sticks a little bit. I'm probably going to roll it a little bit better. I've seen some tutorials that some of the frontline game guys do. We'll go ahead and unroll this. Now this is the original Urban setup, and you guys can see how incredibly detailed this is. This is a lot more detailed than the other version. All high res. I mean, you have newspapers here, and you have bottles and sandbags and tire marks and cracks in the street. There's more signage on the street. I mean, this is a lot better on this. There's flares that are casting light sources, and it looks amazing, guys. And you know, for the money, 85 bucks, it's definitely going to enrich your game environment too. So let me set this up a little bit. Now I've seen, and I played with some other gaming systems. I've seen guys that have the cotton sheets that they use, and the texture and everything like that. I just don't think they last at long. You can see the difference in the. You guys can see the difference in the level of detail and everything like that. So this one's going to be a lot more detailed. But I do like the catty-cornered street. I just, you know, the street like that, I feel like I have to set the buildings up a certain way, and they all got to face each other. Where this, I can do a little bit more interesting, more visually interesting table setup, and that's what it's all about. Like I said before, you can wrinkle these things all up, let them go, and they're gonna be fine. It's just a giant mouse pad. And for those of you guys who don't remember mouse pads, I'm sorry that you don't get that point of reference, but the older guys, you know what I'm talking about. Beautiful setup. My suggestion to those guys at Frontline Game is do some more cityscape type setups. Maybe do a 4 foot by 8 foot one as well. I would pick that up for 8 foot apocalypse games. Maybe do another one that would fit onto this. You know, if I wanted to do a giant apocalypse game, like all the streets would match up. And I think for the most part, the streets would match up. I just, you know, I'm not going to buy two to see if they would, but it looks like they most likely would. And also maybe angle the streets a little bit more. So this is set up for the diagonal based game. I mean, right here, one thing that is pretty cool is this is 1 foot right here, and then this is 2 foot. So you have your markers already in place for your deployment areas. You don't have to measure, and you guys know how that can be a pain in the butt sometimes. But I mean, look how gorgeous that is, guys. And when you put a cityscape on there, it is just freaking awesome. I cannot express, you know, how happy I am with these things. I mean, I give them a freaking 9 out of 10 on the rating. The only thing that's a little bit annoying is the bag. And I mean, if you're gonna spend $100 a mat, which pretty much what I did after shipping, you know, I'd probably done like a nylon bag or something like that, some kind of ripstop material that's gonna be a little bit more durable, maybe some Cordura or something like that. It's gonna last a little bit longer as well. This material doesn't take abrasion very well, and so if this is moving around in your car or something like that, it's going to be a problem. The other thing that I'm probably going to do as well is find some kind of, you know, probably a dowel rod or something to roll these things up onto. And so I'll probably have a slot that put these in. That dowel rod will give it a little bit more stiffness, so it'll stay up in a slot in like a box or something to have them vertical, or I can hang them horizontally on a shelf or something. But I will tell you, we're almost finished our new game room down here, and I'll probably have these things set up 24/7 with some kind of cityscape. The other complaint I have is, you know, in regards to the woodland type areas, it's just, you know, not every cityscape is flat in real life, but most cities are relatively flat unless you're out in San Francisco or something like that. But I just think that, you know, this suspends disbelief a little bit more. If I'm going to play a rural area or someplace out in the woods, I want to have rocks. I want to have hills, rolling hills, and make it a little bit more interesting. Some canyons and everything. You guys, I've said before, I'm big on a good amount of terrain. I think that 1/3 the table is probably the minimum amount of terrain that you need to have nowadays. And I've even heard some Games Workshop guys say that half of the table surface area should be covered by terrain. Back in the day, it was 25%. But like I've said in other videos, the terrain rules were different back then. So let me show you the 4 foot piece I got as well. As you guys may or may not have figured out, I'm a huge Space Wolf guy, so I will be getting the Tundra one just to make a Tundra table, even though, again, it's doesn't have any hills, but no, a lot of Tundras can be flat. This is for my my Blood Angel brethren, so they can have a little ball type setup, lunar setup. But I mean, the texturing in the original designs of the Kickstarter is just amazing. Some of the bonus ones, that's another kind of complaint, weren't as good. Now they still look good, don't get me wrong, but I mean, you guys can see this. I mean, look how fine the texture and detail is. And this one, I mean, it's just amazing. There's a pool of filth in here. I mean, this is just awesome. There's craters, there's all kind of tire marks, and this one, just kind of plain Jane. You know, this one over here, this is like the more livable building city. Maybe this is the more ruined landscape, but nonetheless, awesome stuff, guys. So give them a check out, fellas, at frontlinegaming.com. Awesome stuff, and I'll probably give those guys a call up here pretty soon and order a couple more for our club. And hopefully you guys, if you like them, let me know. Leave your comments below. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you next time, fellas. Damn it. Oh. We'll be right back.